highway stretched endlessly under the desert moon, the asphalt shimmering like liquid glass. A lone 18-wheeler roared through the night, its lights carving a path through the emptiness. Inside the cab sat Jack Monroe, a man whose eyes had seen too much and whose hands carried the quiet steadiness of someone who'd lived a life far removed from the peace he now chased. To the world, he was a truck driver. To those who once fought beside him, he was a former Special Forces operative who'd traded bullets for backroads and silence. The radio hissed softly, the kind of static that fills lonely nights. Jack didn't mind. He liked it quiet. But the road had a habit of testing men who wanted peace, and tonight was no different. In the rearview mirror, 3 dots of light appeared, distant at first, then growing brighter. Motorcycles, moving fast. Jack's instincts flickered awake. He'd spent too many years reading danger before it spoke. The bikers drew closer, their engine screaming through the desert stillness. They passed him once, laughing, then slowed until they were pacing his truck. One of them, a heavy-set man with skull decals on his helmet, drifted close enough to slap the side of the trailer. Another hurled a beer can that splattered across Jack's windshield. He didn't react. He'd seen worse, far worse, and knew better than to rise to every taunt. Still, something in the way they circled him set his teeth on edge. It wasn't just arrogance. It was hunger, the kind that looked for a fight. Jack eased off the gas, letting the bikers pull ahead. Maybe they'd get bored and move on. But instead, the 3 bikes screeched to a stop across both lanes, blocking the road. The desert wind carried the smell of oil and dust. Jack sighed, shifted to neutral, and brought the massive truck to a halt. The bikers dismounted. Their leader, broad-shouldered leather vest, mirrored shades even in the dark, grinned like he owned the night. "Evening, Grandpa," he shouted. "Road's closed. You'll have to pay the toll." Jack stepped out of the cab, boots crunching gravel. He looked calm, too calm, the kind of calm that made reckless men uneasy. "Didn't realize I needed permission to drive this road," he said. "Not permission," sneered another biker, thin and twitchy. "Contribution. Pay up and maybe we'll let you go." Jack studied them in silence. He could see the way they stood, too close together, sloppy stance, eyes darting. They had no real plan, just adrenaline and beer. "Boys," he said finally, voice low and even, "you sure you want to do this?" That earned him laughter. The leader swaggered closer, his boots leaving dusty prints on the asphalt. "What's the plan, old man? Gonna call 911? Jack's expression didn't change. "No, I'm just giving you a chance to walk away." The leader smirked. "Or what?" Jack's eyes hardened. "Or you'll regret it." For a moment, silence. Then the leader swung, a wild punch aimed at Jack's face. It was fast, but Jack was faster. He caught the man's wrist mid-motion, twisted, and drove his elbow into the biker's ribs. A sharp crack. The man's breath left him in a wheeze. Before the others could react, Jack pivoted, using the leader's momentum to throw him into the dirt. The second biker lunged, swinging a chain. Jack ducked, snatched the chain mid-swing, yanked it free, and slammed his palm into the man's chest. The impact dropped him to his knees, gasping for air. The chain clattered to the ground. The third biker tried to start his bike, engine growling as he aimed to ram Jack. The roar grew louder, tires screeching. Jack waited, and timing, always timing, then rolled aside at the last instant. As the bike shot past, Jack scooped a handful of gravel and hurled it straight into the rider's face. The biker cried out, blinded, lost control, and the bike spun sideways, skidding across the dirt in a spray of sparks. 30 seconds. That's all it took. The desert went still again, broken only by the sound of groans and cooling engines. Jack stood over them, breathing steady. "You boys done?" he asked quietly. The leader coughed, spitting blood. "Who the hell are you?" Jack looked down, brushing dust from his hands. "Just a truck driver," he said. "But I used to be in the kind of work that teaches people not to start fights they can't finish." He turned and walked back toward his rig, boots crunching softly in the sand. Behind him, the bikers muttered, too dazed to move. He climbed into the cab, shifted the truck into gear, and rolled forward. As the headlights swept over them, the leader flinched, covering his eyes. Jack stopped beside him long enough to lower the window. "Next time," he said, voice calm as stone, "pick on someone smaller." Then the truck thundered away, leaving a trail of dust that swallowed the bikers whole. Hours later, Jack pulled into a roadside diner, one of those lonely places that glowed like a beacon in the middle of nowhere. Inside, the waitress looked up from behind the counter, her hair tied in a loose bun. "Rough night?" she asked as she poured coffee. Jack smiled faintly. "Something like that." She studied him for a moment, then slid a slice of pie across the counter. "On the house," she said. "You look like you could use something sweet." Jack nodded in thanks. Outside, the sky was turning pale with the first light of dawn. He sat in silence, sipping coffee, listening to the hum of the refrigerator and the occasional truck rolling past on the highway. For a while, peace returned, the kind he'd been looking for all along. But old habits die hard. When he heard the distant rumble of engines again, his muscles tensed before his mind even registered it. 3 motorcycles appeared on the horizon, moving slower now, more cautious. As they passed the diner, one of the bikers turned his head, met Jack's eyes through the window and gave a small nod. Respect? Or maybe fear? Jack returned the nod. No anger, no pride, just quiet acknowledgement. Some lessons don't need words. When they were gone, he finished his coffee, left a bill on the counter, and stepped back into the cool morning air. The sun was rising over the desert, painting everything in gold. He opened the truck door, climbed inside, and rested his hands on the wheel. From the glove box, he pulled out an old cloth patch, his unit insignia. The edges were frayed, colors faded, but the memories were sharp as ever. He looked at it for a long moment before tucking it away again. He started the engine. The deep rumble filled the cab, steady and comforting. As the truck rolled back onto the open road, Jack smiled to himself. That rare, quiet smile of a man who knows exactly who he is and what he's capable of. To the rest of the world, he was just another nameless driver hauling freight across empty highways. But to the 3 bikers who'd crossed his path that night, he was something else entirely. A ghost from another life. The kind of man who didn't start trouble but finished it with precision. The desert wind howled softly around the truck as miles disappeared under its tires. Jack adjusted his cap, eyes on the horizon. The sun climbed higher and the past faded behind him like a shadow swallowed by the light. Another road. Another day. Another chance at peace, and for now that was enough.